You make a chain, odd number of chains, then the second chain from the hook. You put a single crochet in all the way across. This is row 1. I did 31 chains on this one. The first few rows are always the toughest, just getting started. Because sometimes it's awkward trying to hold your work and your yarn, your working yarn. But once you get going, it gets easier. Just stick with it. Don't give up. Practice makes perfect. And then row 2, well, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work here. And then row 2 will be, the first stitch will be a double crochet, and each stitch across double crochet, and your first stitch is going to be under both of those front loop, back loop, underneath that V, if you can see. So that's going to be your very first stitch, and you're going to actually work that one by doing a double crochet into there. So you yarn over and pull through both loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. So you're going to do double crochet across under all those stitches there in the top. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. This is the Alpine stitch. Once you get a few rows down, it gets less awkward holding your work and your working yarn. So once you see this come together, it's nice. It's really pretty stitch. Good morning. Morning, everybody. I'm just going under the front loop and the back loop in the top of these stitches. You start your chain with an odd number, and then row 1 is single crochet all the way across. Second chain from the hook, and then your row 2 is a double crochet in the first stitch and each stitch across. That's what I'm working on right now. And this one, you might have to turn it to see the V there. Gonna go under both of those loops. And then you chain 1 and turn your work. This is what it looks like so far. And then row 3, your first stitch is a single crochet. Second single crochet, double crochet. And all the way across. And I'm reading a pattern here. I wrote down. And then the next row will be front post double and a double crochet alternating. So then it gets neat. The pattern gets really pretty. So bear with me here as we go across again with a single crochet. It would have helped had I done a smaller chain. Do an odd number chain. But I did 31. I should have probably done maybe 25 or 21. Going to chain 2, turn our work. And then we're going, this is row 4, going to do a front post double crochet around the double crochet from row 2 below it. It's the second stitch from the hook. Right there. And you're going to make it loose so it doesn't draw up on you, so it's not so tight. Like that. Then you do a double crochet into the next stitch in the top. And I try to make these a little on the looser side. Okay, and then gonna skip this chain, go onto the other, do a front post double into the bottom, then you're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch in the top. So alternating double crochets and front post double crochets on this row. This is what it looks like. Alpine stitch. Give yourself plenty of slack there to reach to the top. I've seen some made with a treble clef where you yarn over twice, gives yourself a taller stitch, and you can do that. Or you can just give yourself a little bit of yarn there. There you go. You're going to end this row with a double crochet. That's what it looks like so far. Double crochet into the top of the stitch here at the end. And sometimes you have to turn to see it, but it's right there. Under front front loop and back loop right there. Oh, I need to do a double crochet. Okay, and then chain one and turn your work. And this is going to be row 5 coming up. It's single crochet in each stitch across. And you're going to go into the first stitch here. And then each one across under these V's, going under both loops. And then you chain 2 and turn. And then you do, this is row 6. Double crochet into the first stitch. The next stitch you'll do a front post double crochet. That'll be from the double crochet in row 4. And then you alternate back and forth, double crochet, front post double crochet. And you end with 2 double crochets. So double crochet into the top of this first stitch and front post double that sits back a little bit between these 2 front posts here. You reach back and grab this one and then give yourself a little room, some slack there so it doesn't bunch up on you. And then the next stitch in the top you'll do a double crochet, and then the next stitch a front post double into not this front post but this one that sits back a little bit, and you reach under just like that, pull up your yarn a little bit so you have nice non-bunched up work. And then your regular double crochet into the next. Then you skip one and you go into this one that sits back a little bit. Give myself some yarn here. Then a double crochet. Front post double. And a double crochet. Front post double. Double crochet. Good morning, everybody. Working on an Alpine stitch. Double crochet and a front post double. Double crochet. You alternate those all the way down. And we're at the end again. You end with 2 double crochets into the top of these 2 stitches here. You can see from the side. Go under this front and back post, or front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop with a double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and then there, this is what it looks like, but you'll repeating rows 3 to 6 until complete, and this is what it looks like, you guys. Turn it to the side, maybe you can see it better. Good day. Oh, thank you. This is an Alpine stitch. It's going to be a scarf. And you start with an odd number of chains to start. I made my scarf a little bit wider than I probably should have. This is 31. you can do, you know, say something like that, 21 or you can make it wider so you can bunch it up when you're wearing it. Odd number of chains, and then your row 1 will be single crochet starting in the second chain from the hook and single crochet all the way across. You'll chain 2 and turn your work. Row 2 will be into your first stitch, a double crochet, and a double crochet on each stitch across into the top underneath those 2 loops there. Double crochet all the way over. You'll chain 1 and turn your work, and into the first stitch you'll do a single crochet, and you'll do a single crochet into each stitch across. Chain 2 and turn your work, and that is row 3. Row 4, you'll do a front post double crochet underneath. It'll be like the second chain. You'll do a front post double crochet and then a regular double crochet into the top, alternating those every other one. You'll chain 1 and turn your work, and then row 5 will be single crochet into each stitch, just like we have been doing under those front loop, back loop. Single crochet into each stitch across, chain 2, turn your work. That's row 5. We turn our work and we start with a double crochet into the first stitch under here, and then alternating, you skip a stitch and then you do a front post double crochet, and then you alternate that double crochet, front post double crochet. That is row 6. You'll continue all the way to the end and end with 2 double crochets into the top of the 2 stitches, the loops, the V loops at the top. That is row 6, and then you alternate, you repeat rows 3 to 6 until you're complete. Oh, you're welcome. Alpine stitch. You can make a blanket, scarf, anything. Use a softer yarn if you'd like. Good morning. So we're gonna go back. I'll do a few more rows here before ending the live. Do single crochets all the way over. I'm starting with this very first stitch here underneath both loops. Single crochet. Here's your single crochet all the way across, and then I'll turn it so you can see the other side. That's row 3 again. And row 4, we'll do a front post double. Did I chain 2? No, I did not. Let me chain 2, turn my work. Front post double and a double crochet. Okay, here's so far what it looks like. Alpine stitch. Thank you. Thank you guys for the loves, the hearts, love hearts, as my granddaughter calls them. Front post double crochet, and we're going in to this stitch right here. I'm going to do a front post double right here. And you can do a treble if you want to, doing 2 yarn overs like this. I'll just show you. You can do it like that. It makes a taller stitch. In this particular pattern, we're just doing a regular front post double crochet. And I give myself some slack on that. Kind of basically doing the same thing that a treble would. And then the next stitch, you're going to do double crochet into the top under those V loops. Then you're going to skip that one, and the one that sits back a little bit, if you can tell, you're going to go under this and pull this one up. So double crochet, skip this because it's sort of the same post, and then you're going under here into the next, doing a front post double crochet. So every other one, you're going to do a double crochet into the top. And a front post double, skipping this, going under this post that sits back a little bit. Yarn over and you pull it up a little bit, give yourself a little slack. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then you just alternate that all the way to the end. Double crochet, front post double crochet. I really made this scarf pretty wide. Maybe wider than I wanted. I don't know, we'll see when it's finished. I can always bunch it up, it's okay. And then you end with a double crochet. Chain one and turn. And then we're going to do single crochets all the way to the end, starting with this first stitch here. It's kind of on the end. And then thereafter into the top of these stitches. Kind of turning it so you can see going under the front loop and the back loop. Both of those. And if you pull your work apart a little bit, you can see the holes where you go. Do the single crochet. I'm just really trying to make sure these stitches are loose, so my work doesn't bunch up or get too, taut all together. We're going to chain two and turn our work. And then starting into the first stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. And then a front post double crochet. I'm going to skip this because it's sort of the same, down the same line as this one. It's off a little bit, but we're going to skip this one, and the one that sits back a little bit, you're going to pull it up and do a front post double. So you're alternating double crochet in the top, front post double crochet into this stitch below it, or to the left of it a little. Oh, sorry, I missed comments there. Great workmanship, awesome piece. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Christina. I'm doing, this is an Alpine stitch scarf. This is what it looks like. Get it up close there. Alpine stitch. And if you can do a double crochet and a single crochet and front post double, they're all similar, but if you can do that, you can do it. If you're a beginner, you can do it. You just stick with it. It's just awkward at first, trying to hold your work in the working yarn, but just like anything, after a few rows down, you know, it's not as awkward. And if you're unsure where your front post double is supposed to go, you can hold it back a little bit and see the one that sits back just a little between those two posts that sit forward a little bit. And then the one that sits back is the one that you pick up and do your front post double on. And like I said, you could do a treble clef on them, or treble clef, oh my gosh. I keep saying that, treble crochet. I was in music at one point in my life, many, many years ago, but for some reason that sticks into my head, a treble clef. But it's treble crochet. It just makes the stitch taller, and maybe you wouldn't have to pull your yarn up so much. Give yourself slack. Good morning. I am working on a scarf. This is called the Alpine stitch. As you can see, I chained another double crochet instead of doing a front post. Like, my hands get to going and they just do their own thing sometimes. Especially if you're working on different projects at once. So you end here with 2 double crochets into the top of these 2 stitches. You're doing that front loop and that back loop. That's where I'm going. Each stitch at the top. Just like that. And then I'm gonna chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to start with row 3 again. We just repeat rows 3 to 6 until we're finished now. So we do single crochet all the way to the end. But we start in this first stitch here, close to the edge. And every stitch after. And that is it, you guys. Thanks for joining, and I will have more lives just like this one. I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.